Today, we're going to talk about why the new Triumph Tiger Sport 660 is not for me, and what I think almost everyone is failing to mention in the videos being released about this new Sport 660 from Triumph. I was really excited when this bike was announced, till I realized what almost nobody is willing to mention. I recently just finished up a vacation and got home just in time to catch the announcement from Triumph about the new Tiger Sport 660. If you've been following the channel for a while, you might remember back in February where I confessed I secretly was very interested in the Triumph Trident 660 because of the affordability and the fact that it was a triple instead of a twin. Not that there's anything wrong with the twin, but I have owned and ridden twins in the past. A triple would be a new experience for me. With my Street Glide almost paid off, maybe I can swing another bike next year. But we've really been looking into a new bike for Firecracker, so we'll just have to wait till spring and see how things look. When I heard the Tiger Sport 660 was coming out, I was very intrigued. I have a DR650 for riding off-road, but most of my off-road riding is really gravel roads and Forest Service roads. A little bit of dirt roads on private property, but not much single-track type riding, and nothing really technical so far. I thought maybe I could sell the DR650 and get a Triumph Tiger with that triple engine that would meet my off-road needs as well as my desire for a smaller, lighter bike for commuting to work. As I watched the official launch video from Triumph, I noticed there was something missing. No mention of off-road abilities. No glory shots of it running through the dirt like the Tiger 900. Now granted, maybe to someone who's more familiar with Triumph this may not be a surprise, but I was surprised because the bike is listed under the adventure segment of the Triumph lineup. Adventure bikes are supposed to be off-road capable, right? Or am I an idiot? Have I been looking at an adventure bike all wrong? Well, I asked Google what is an adventure motorcycle, and I got an article that explains dual sport motorcycles are street legal counterparts to enduro off-road models, and adventure motorcycles are larger displacement multi-cylinder motorcycles developed for on and off-road travel. Yep, that's what I thought. So where is the adventure part of the Tiger Sport 660? In the first 40 seconds of the global reveal video put out by Triumph, they say adventure sport category. Just listen.
Hello and welcome to the launch of the new Tiger Sport 660. Now, this new Tiger Sport has been designed to bring Triumph's triple-powered advantage to the middleweight adventure sport category.
But where are the adventure aspects? At a minute and 20 seconds approximately into the global reveal video, they say adventure sport is the type of motorcycling used for all types of riding, commuting, weekend riding, to touring. Note, no mention of off-road. At 3 minutes and 30 seconds in the video, they use the term adventure sport again, but still no mention of off-road riding anywhere.
Now, in the adventure sport market, you're looking for a bike that is going to be no compromise. You can do everything from your fun blasts on a Sunday to commuting to having your buddy on the back. And this bike doesn't seem to be a compromise in any area at all as far as my experience goes.
At 5 minutes in, they mention 2 riding modes. I'm going to assume that's the standard and rain modes. So there is another point that indicates that this bike is not suited for off-road riding. When Triumph brings in Motobob, you'll notice he doesn't use the word adventure at any point. In fact, if you go to Motobob's channel and you watch his video on the Tiger 660, he refers to it as a sport tourer. He compares it to 2 motorcycles in his video that do not classify themselves as adventure motorcycles, but sport touring motorcycles. Thanks, Motobob, for being accurate in your description of the Tiger 660. I know, you might think I'm just being picky or I had unrealistic expectations of what a Tiger was from Triumph and what it's supposed to be capable of. Well, the Tiger 660 is the only Tiger in the current lineup with the front and rear tires being the same size. The 660 is running a 17-inch wheel on both ends. The Tiger 850 runs a 19 in the front and 17 in the rear. The Tiger 900, yep, same as the 850, the 19-17 setup. And of course, the 1200s. Yep, you guessed it, 19 front, 17 rear. So if my expectations were unrealistic, it was not without cause. Also, the channel Long Way Home feels the same way I do about this bike being called an adventure sport. and refers to this bike as a sport touring model. Don't believe me? Check this out.
Triumph calls the new Tiger Sport 660 an adventure sports motorcycle, and I have a major problem with manufacturers that do this. You can't just go around and call any bike an adventure bike, you'll confuse people. As far as I know, the adventure moniker is the only one used for bikes that are actually designed to be used off-road as well as on-road. The Tiger Sport 660 is not. It's got 17-inch cast wheels, no protection whatsoever, bad suspension for off-roading, so this is definitely a sports tourer.
Just a week after the Tiger 660 Sport launch event, Triumph released a video about Triumph's adventure experience. Let's take a quick peek at this video. Yeah, it's all about off-road riding. So yeah, I feel a little betrayed by Triumph calling this a Tiger. In this clip with visor down, they even say Tiger is their name for adventure and that the historic name goes back to the 30s. Then they go on to claim there are two flavors of adventure motorcycles.
Two answers to that. So in terms of how important the Tiger name is and why a Tiger, that's our name for adventure. And actually, in regard to what you can buy from the Triumph lineup today, that's the most historic name. That goes back to the 30s in terms of being the name that you would have had for dual-purpose or multi-purpose motorcycles from Triumph back in the mid-30s. And then to your second side of the question, why not a more off-road focused bias? The answer to that is, of course, is that in the adventure world, again, there's sort of two flavors. You've got adventure in an off-road sense, both in the style and the look, but also the ability to genuinely go off-road. But there's an awful lot of motorcycles that are in the sports, road-focused adventure world, and these two sit in that world. So
Personally, I think because the adventure motorcycle segment has been so hot, every motorcycle company wants to say this is an adventure bike. But is it really? Are manufacturers trying to blur the lines and redefine adventure motorcycles just to use the word adventure? Leave me a comment down below and tell me if you agree that adventure motorcycles should have at least some hint of off-road abilities. I get adventure touring motorcycles may spend 90% of their time on the pavement, but if adventure motorcycle is not suited for off-road use, then what's the difference between them and a sport touring bike? Really? Now, when you look at what other manufacturers are doing with engine platforms, it's not hard to believe that Triumph will come out with a more off-road oriented version of the Tiger Sport 660. I think Triumph should have started a new segment on their website called Sport Tourer. This model could have been placed there rather than underneath the adventure segment. This new Tiger does give me hope though, and at this point I would probably hold out for a true adventure version of the Tiger Sport 660. The off-road ability, the more upright riding position versus the aggressive position of the Trident make me think that this bike would be a better fit for me personally. I hope you guys like this video and agree with me on why the Tiger Sport 660 is not an adventure motorcycle. I want to thank all my members who help support this channel. If you're interested in perks like early access to videos like this one, then please consider joining for as little as a few dollars a month by clicking the join button below. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you do that YouTube thing, check out the content on my channel. And if you dig it, don't forget to subscribe down below. Ring that bell to be notified the next time I drop a new video. And as always, thank you for support. Stay safe and keep on riding.